Welcome to Science Store online classes.
Don't forget to like our video and subscribe our YouTube channel for all the updates.
Good morning students. Welcome to online physics class. In today's class we are going to discuss CET NEET concepts of laws of motion. So in our board class we have discussed plenty of concepts under this chapter. So here we will discuss only those things or those concepts which are not discussed in a board and which are required for NEET and CET or JEE concept. So let's refresh everything whatever we have to learn, right? Just refresh. So we started this laws of motion, we started with what is motion, and then yes, motion is nothing but change in a position of an object. And then what is force? We took so many example of motion. We took the example of running object, we took the example of planets or moving around the sun or any star. We took the example of movement of electron in an atom. We took the example of magnets. So many examples you can consider for the motion, and if you find or if you try to think about or if you look at the cause of those motion, so all the motions causes due to some or other kind of force. So it is very clear that force caused the motion or cause of motion is force. Then what is force? Again, if you consider different types of force you come across in your day-to-day life, so it defines that force is a physical quantity which initiates the motion, which brings the object into rest. It changes the direction of a motion, it increases or decreases speed of the object, it changes the shape, it changes the size of the object. So this is how you can define force. So then types of forces: balanced and unbalanced. So if the force have to be balanced, then what should be the net force? If net force is equal to 0, you know what is net force, right? Algebraic sum of the force acting on any object, that is net force. If the net force have to be 0, if the net force is 0, then the body is said to be under balanced condition. So when the body is under balanced condition, what will be its acceleration? Acceleration of the body is 0. So body is in a balanced state or balanced force is acting. When body is acted by balanced force, net force should be equal to 0, acceleration should be equal to 0. Then if acceleration is 0, then what is the state of a body? If acceleration is not 0, then body is said to be under acceleration. Now body is having 0 acceleration, it is not accelerating, then what is the state of a body? So either body have to be under rest or under uniform motion. Am I right? Correct. So when the body is at rest, no velocity. When there is no velocity, there is no acceleration. When the body is under uniform motion, the velocity of the body is constant. If the velocity is constant, acceleration is 0. So that you should know. Acceleration is 0. Then state of a body is either at rest or under motion. So this is about balanced force. Unbalanced force. What is unbalanced force? Unbalanced force. When the body is under unbalanced force, net force wouldn't be equal to 0. It is not equal to 0. If net force is not equal to 0, then acceleration is also not equal to 0. Then body is said to be, state of a body is accelerating. State of a body is accelerating. Correct? Okay. Then we discussed about Aristotle's fallacy, Galileo's experiment, and inertia. What is inertia? Inertia is a property of a body which opposes the change in a state of a body. If a body is at rest, it tends to be in a rest. If the body is under uniform motion, it tends to be in the uniform motion. So that behavior is called inertia. And with the concept of inertia, Newton came up with his first law, which is called law of inertia also, which says that a body which is under rest will remain in a rest, which is under motion that will remain in a uniform motion until and unless it is compelled by any external force. Okay, when you apply the external force, then only body which is at rest will start to move. When you apply the force, then only body which is at motion will come to rest. When you apply the force, then only body which is under uniform motion will start to accelerate, right? So when the body is compelled by any external force, body will change its state, or else it will show opposition. It will resist the change of the state, change of its state, right? So in a first law, we talk about balanced condition of a body, or bodies acting under balanced state. Okay, and next move to the second law. In that we studied momentum. What is momentum? It is product of mass and velocity. It's not how momentum supposed to be defined. That is the expression. Momentum is nothing but mass into velocity of the body, or you can say that it is a property of a body when the body can give its velocity to the other body with which it makes the bombardment, correct? If two bodies are colliding, then the ability of those bodies to transfer their velocities, transfer their speed to the other body in which it makes collision, that is P is equal to mv. So this is the vector form. The magnitude of momentum is nothing but mass times of magnitude of velocity, correct? So body which is having initial velocity, if it changes its velocity, then body changes its momentum also. When a body particularly has some velocity, it will have some momentum. When it changes its velocity, its momentum changes, because any body, it can't lose its mass. It will lose its mass when it is under motion, losing mass is, if you consider rocket propulsion and all, losing of mass is considerable. If you consider a car is under motion, so when the car is running on the road, car won't keep losing its mass, but its velocity would keep changing. So change in the momentum of a car would be because of change in the velocity of the car. Am I right? So the change in the momentum is denoted this way. Change in the momentum of any object is nothing but final momentum minus initial momentum. We know that, correct? Change in anything is nothing but final quantity minus initial quantity. So for an object, let's say there are two balls, ball of mass m1 and ball of mass m2, A and B. This is first moving with the velocity v1 and this is moving with the velocity v2, right? So the initial momentum of m1 and m2, let's not take this, let's take only one ball. Initial momentum of m1 is v1, velocity of m1 is v1. What is the initial momentum of this body? Let me call it as p1. p1 is m1 into v1. After some times, ball changes its velocity to v2. Either it is decrease or increase, it is not important here, it changes its velocity. When it changes its velocity, what will be the momentum of that ball? m1 into v2. This is the final momentum, this is the initial momentum. If I have to know what is the change in the momentum of this ball, I know what is the change in the velocity, v2 to v1. Mass doesn't change, but what is the change in the momentum? Final momentum minus initial momentum. How can you write m1 v2 minus m2 v1? I mean m1 v1. m1 is common, v2 minus v1 is nothing but change in the momentum of any body. Mass times of that body into change in the velocity of that body is nothing but change in the momentum of that particular body. Okay. Now let me give you different scenarios and let us come across with the expression for it. Let's consider a body of mass m. Consider a ball. The mass of that ball is m. Okay. So let's say it's dropped on the floor. When you drop the ball on the floor normally, correct? So perpendicular to the ground you drop a ball. Just like how am I dropping this chalk piece? This chalk piece is acting normally to this table now, correct? Similarly, you drop a ball on the surface normally. So here is your ground and this ball is dropped normally on the surface. Ball of mass m is dropped normally on the surface. What is the velocity of this ball? The velocity of the ball is u, or we will call it as u. It is dropped normally. What happens? It will bounce back. Am I right? The ball will bounce back. It will bounce back normally from the surface. But velocity is changed. Let's say velocity is changed. It is dropped with the velocity u. Now it is bouncing back with the velocity v. What is the change in the momentum of this? Okay, let's go with this. What is the initial momentum of this? Initial momentum P1 is equal to how much? Mass times of initial velocity. Initial velocity is u. But u is downward, students. The ball is dropping downward, correct? U is negative here. Am I right? Ball is dropped. So it is moving in a downward motion. So u is acting downward. So let's take it minus. Correct? Okay. What is the final momentum of this ball? After getting repelled back, after bouncing, it is moving upward with the velocity v. So momentum of this ball, final momentum of this ball, when it reaches to the top, the final momentum of this ball is nothing but mass into final velocity. Should I take it negative now? No, because velocity v is acting upward, u is acting downward. Now what is the change in the momentum for this case? Change in the momentum is nothing but final momentum minus initial momentum mv minus of mu. So can you say that mv plus mu, minus into minus plus. So here mass is common, so m into v plus u, right? Change in the momentum of this case is m into v plus u. Any object which is dropped normally on the surface, ground, and which bounces back normally from the ground with the two different velocities v and u, then its change in the momentum will be mass times of sum of those velocities. Alright. Now, as a second case, this is the ground and a ball is dropped with a velocity v. The mass of this ball is m. Again ball is dropped with normally on the ground with the velocity v and it bounces back from the ground with the same velocity. It goes upward with the velocity u. Correct? A ball is dropped normally on the ground with the velocity v and it is bounced back upward with the velocity u. Now what is the change in the momentum of this? You can directly write change in the momentum is nothing but, I'm sorry, it is not u, it is v again. With what velocity it is dropping back, with the same velocity it will go up. If I take u, then both are similar case, correct? So with what velocity the ball is dropped on the ground, with the same velocity it bounced back from the ground. So what is the change in momentum of this ball? So change in the momentum is 2 times of m into v. Why? See, change in the momentum for anything which is dropped on the ground normally and bounced back from the ground normally is mass times of both sum of two velocity. So mass into what are the two velocities? v plus v is nothing but 2v into m. 2mv is nothing but change in the momentum. Am I right? Correct? So you can directly say this is the change in the momentum of the case where the object is dropped with normally to the ground and bounces back with the same velocity. Now this ball is dropped on the ground with some angle. This is the normal, correct? This is the perpendicular line I can consider on the ground. But now my ball is acting this way. This is my ball here of mass m, and this ball is thrown on the surface or ground with an angle theta with the speed v. Okay, and the same ball bounces back with this direction, whereas this angle is also theta. So here is your ball with the same velocity. Okay, so similar case, but angle here, incident angle is 90 degree, repelling angle is also 90 degree, but here incident angle is theta, repelling angle is theta. So ball is acted at an angle theta to the surface and repelled back with the angle theta to the surface. Then what is the change in the momentum to this case? So then you have to resolve these two vectors. We have to resolve this v, and how to resolve that? You have to resolve this v here, correct? This is your v cos theta minus v cos theta, and this is your minus v sin theta. You have to resolve this here. This is your v sin cos theta, and along this direction v cos theta. Both are plus, correct? This is plus, not minus. Now change in the momentum is nothing but 2 into m into v sin theta. 2 into m into v sin theta. Okay, let me take one more example. Here is one wall, okay, and this is the normal drawn on the wall. This is the normal. A ball of mass m is thrown on the wall with the speed v, which makes an angle theta with the normal. This ball is thrown on the wall. You throw the ball on the wall with an angle theta. The same ball will repelled along this direction with the same angle with the normal, with the same speed. This ball is thrown on the wall and it repelled or bounced back with this direction. Now what is the change in the momentum of this case? Change in the momentum of this case is 2mv cos theta. See, the difference is here ball is dropped from the top to the ground with an angle theta. So change in the momentum takes place vertically, perpendicular to the surface. So 2m sin theta, vertical angle is nothing but vertical component of velocity is nothing but v sin theta, correct? V sin theta. Whereas here you are throwing it horizontally on the wall. When you throw it horizontally on the wall, it will repel back horizontally, so change in the momentum also takes place horizontally. Here 2 into m v cos theta. What is v cos theta? V cos theta is the x component of the velocity. V sin theta is the y component of the velocity. Here the direction of change in the momentum is along the normal. Along the normal to the surface, to the ground, whatever, ground. But here, here also along the normal to the wall. Wall is this is wall. So ball is acting horizontally. Ground is this, ball is acting vertically. So change in the momentum for vertical motion of a ball is along normal on the ground, it will be normal to the ground. Here ball when acts horizontally on the wall, its the change in the momentum is along the horizontal direction. What about the change in the momentum here? See, these two are scalar quantity. This is the only vector quantity here. What is the direction of V? One is downward, another one is upward. So direction of this whole thing is normally upward. What about this? Here also V and U both are acting normal to this surface. So change in the momentum is also normal to the ground. Okay, normal to the ground. So this is about different scenarios for the momentum of the object when it is acted at different angles, right? Yes, students, let me take one more scenario where the object is moving in a circular motion. Okay, object is moving in a uniform circular motion. This ball is moving in a uniform circular motion. Okay, so now there is one point here A. So to move from A to B, so if the B is somewhere here, to move from A to B, to cover this arc of the circular path, so that ball have to cover some angle, correct? This is the angle covered by the ball. Here the direction of velocity is this, here the direction of velocity is this. As I mentioned, it is a uniform motion, magnitude of the velocity will be same everywhere. Am I correct? Magnitude of the velocity will be same everywhere. So now to cover the distance A to B, it makes an angle theta. In this case, the change in the momentum, only the direction will change with the ball. Direction is changing for the velocity of the ball. So here, if this is initial velocity V1, this is also final velocity at V, but direction is different. So momentum change takes place. Momentum is also vector quantity, right? If velocity direction changes, momentum also changes. The change in the momentum is 2 times of m into v sine of theta by 2. Okay? When the object is under uniform motion, to cover a certain distance, if it traverses theta angle, then change in the momentum of that object is nothing but 2 times of m into v sine, where v is the magnitude of the velocity of object under uniform motion, 2 into m into v sine of theta by 2. So these are different scenarios. So what is the direction of motion? And it is directed towards the center of the circle. That will be always directed towards the center. Change in the momentum will be always directed towards the center. Yes, this is about the momentum part. Now we will discuss about second law of motion. What does second law of motion says? The rate of change of momentum. Rate of change of momentum is directly proportional to the force acting on it. Correct? So rate of change of momentum is equal to net force acting on a body. So rate of change of momentum, here considering constant k is 1. So rate of change of momentum is directly proportional to the net force. Or else you can also say that net force acting on a body is equal to mass times of rate of change of velocity. So we will come across the formula net force is equal to mass times of acceleration. This is in consistence with the first law of motion. If acceleration is 0, net force is 0. Net force is 0 means balanced force. Balanced force, acceleration is 0. So it is in consistence with the first law of motion. So you can say that if the component of F is equal to mass times of component of A. Fy is equal to mass times of Ay. Fz is equal to mass times of Az. So this is the expression of second law of motion. Now I will give you one scenario. There is one huge metal plate. Imagine the shield on what Wonder Woman or your Superwoman's hand, shield, Superman shield. Okay, so that shield is floating in the air. Metal shield, it is floating in a metal block or plate or shield, whatever you can call it as, it is floating in the air. How could it be possible? So I make it possible by firing the bullet to it. Imagine there is something I keep firing the bullet to it so that it won't fall down. It can happen, right? So there is one object, there is one balloon. How can I not let it to fall on the ground? By blowing the air to it. Am I right? Are you following this? So if I apply the air to that balloon without touching, I have to keep the balloon on in the air. Why? I have to apply air, or I have to put the air, water, like water current. With the water current or air current, I can make the balloon to float. Similarly, I can make a metal block to float in the air by firing the bullet to it. I keep firing the bullet, so metal plate will be kept, it will keep on hitting by the bullet, so it won't fall down. So let's say m is the mass of that metal plate, okay, metal shield. Imagine, a shield. So bullets are firing continuously. Bullets are firing. All the bullets are of mass m, and all the bullets are fired with the same speed v towards this metal plate. And how many bullets are fired? The number of bullets fired are n in t time. In t time, n number of bullets I have fired on that metal sheet. So for that t interval of a time, the metal sheet will be floating in the air. You have to visualize that. It is very fun to visualize. So in that case, so the force acting on that metal plate, what is the amount of force acting on the metal plate? So what is the amount of force acting on a metal plate? That is equal to mass into g. The force acting on, because here metal plate is accelerating due to gravity, correct? So m into g, that will be equal to, see if the bullet is hitting the metal plate and dropping down. There will be so many scenarios, right? Bullet will come, it will hit the metal plate and it will drop down. Or bullet will come, it will hit the metal plate and it will pass through. Another case is bullet will hit the metal plate and it will repel back, correct? Repel back with the same velocity. So there are different scenarios. Let me take the first scenario. Bullet will hit and it will fall down. Bullet will fall down after hitting. In that case, m into v is nothing but momentum of one single bullet. What is the momentum of all the bullets? N into m into v. So this is the momentum, total momentum of all n number of bullets. They acted for t seconds. Now, momentum by time, what is that? It is nothing but force acting on this metal sheet. Correct? You know that impulse part. Impulse means what? What is impulse? Impulse is the large force acting for short interval of a time. Impulsive force acting for a short period of a time. So impulse is force times of time interval, or it is nothing but impulse is nothing but change in the momentum. Am I right? So here n into m into v is the momentum. N into m into v is the total momentum. By time is nothing but force. So that force is nothing but m into g. So remember this relation. When the bullet, there is one metal plate, it is kept in the air floating by firing bullet to it continuously with a certain speed. So if the bullet comes and drops down, if all the bullets comes, hits and drops down there, then the force acting on that metal sheet is equal to nmv divided by t. T is the time up to which the bullet is fired, n is the total number of bullets and mv is the momentum of each bullet. If the bullet is repelled back, it rebounds back. Bullet hits and it rebounds back. So bullet rebounds back after hitting. After hitting, if the bullet rebounds back, right? So then 2 times of n into m into v by t will be is equal to mg, because when the bullet rebounds back, it will have some velocity. Let's say it will have same velocity. So change in the momentum takes place. So here momentum change takes place, but initially momentum is mv, final momentum is 0 because it is dropping down. But in this case, initial momentum is mv, final momentum is also mv. So 2 times of mv is the momentum of one bullet, 2 into n into mv is the momentum of all the n bullet. So by T gives the force acting on this metal plate is m into g. So this expression, remember, it would come to use for some kind of a solution of some kind of a problem.
Don't forget to like our video and subscribe our YouTube channel for all the updates.